Meet your maker.
Nice try.
I'm ready. Almost got me that time.
Nice try.
Better luck next time.
You're not trying to escape, are you?
Glory is mine.
Nice try. Try again. Almost got me that time. I'll yield to none.
I'm ready.
You're not trying to escape, are you?
Mine. Prepare yourself.
It all happened like I knew it would. A single drop of source magic. And, like flies to honey, monsters swarmed. The rebel panicked. The carnage began. And the joy. I'd come here to kill Godwoken. But instead I became part of their story.
So, still a bit groggy, are we? Don't worry, the sedative will wear off soon enough. Easy now, no need to hurry. Get your bearings and report to me upstairs.
Well, look what the doctor got. You're lucky they didn't notice just how thin you were under those bandages. Although, seeing someone wrapped up like that, they probably thought you had the scabbing plague. Heh, look, laugh, but don't touch. Better keep that hood down, mind you. The living don't take kindly to seeing their future staring back at them.
Playing dead, are you? Probably a good idea. An animal sty. Freight or food?
Shaking her fluffy coat, the sheep eyes you balefully. Her
Click. This floor plate triggered something.
Get me out of this cage and I'll make it worth your while.
You in? Your guess is as good as mine. Someone screamed loud as a banshee. After that, pure pandemonium. They never even told me what I was accused of. Just dragged me down here. Set me free, and I'll set you free. A fair trade, I should think. Suit yourself, but we're all in the same boat here, so to speak. I'll await your return.
The Magister Guard snorts and sniffles as he sleeps. You're almost impressed that one man can make such a phlegmy racket.
Is my shift over? You here to relieve me? Wait, you're no Magister. You're a sorcerer. What are you doing here, filthy lizard? Choose your words carefully. My fists ache to meet a new face. Those idiots can't even walk straight without mucking it up. Was it Rick's? I bet it was Rick's. Can't just leave the prisoner alone, though. I heard he might be the one causing trouble upstairs. If it's all the same, I think it's best he comes with me. Some offence intended. You hear that, Emoire? We're taking a walk. Keep your hands where I can see them. Hurry it up, sorcerer. We haven't got all day.
No. No. Most certainly don't. That's one problem solved. A dead Magister.
So much
Somebody
for
will
a
have to
peaceful
take the
stroll.
blame for this. And it won't be me.
Empty. Empty.
Not the most elegant solution, was it? And I'm back where I started. Nowhere to go but up.
My, these smelling salts are strong stuff. What a well of knowledge this tome is. Dallas is such a dear lending it to me. Why, you're looking a bit more chipper. Yes. Looks like that collar fits you snugly enough. Nice bit of work. Even if I do... There you are. Not too tight, I hope. The collar, I mean. Oh, not to worry. Every dog has to get used to its leash. In the meantime, your next stop will be Magister William. All passengers have to be registered in the ship's manifest, and he's the chap in charge of the logs. You'll find him on the other side of this deck, in the officers' quarters. Why? Because we're at sea, of course, and have been for several days.
Index fingers pressed to her lips, she pauses a moment to give you a scrutinizing gander.
My word, you do seem a bit befuddled, don't you? Perhaps I was a bit too generous with that sedative. Oh, well, I'm sure you'll soon gather your wits. Most likely. Eventually. In the meantime, all you need to know is that we're en route to Fort Joy. A new life awaits, and if you're a particularly good girl, perhaps a cure as well. An end to Source. For good.
Good gods! There's been a murder here.
Ugly sight, isn't it? Burns me up this happened under our protection. We're extremely lucky no Voidwoken followed the source that did this. Finn didn't see it like that. He was desperate for us to help him. Two things scared the living daylights out of him. His own shadow and his own source. We'll find out who did this. Speaking of...
She looks up at you with a mirthless smile.
I was on duty in your room when the murder happened. You were asleep the whole time. Didn't even stir. You're one of the only indisputably innocent people on the ship. Unless you can commit murder in your sleep, of course. Figured as much. Listen, I could use someone to keep their ears open among the passengers. Sometimes they clam up in front of a uniform. Bring me a good lead, and I'll throw in a shiny gold coin for you. How about that? Thanks. I just want to catch whoever did this before they hurt anyone else.
The hatch is blocked. I'll need to find another way.
Please. I forgot how to sing. I did. Oh, there you are. Wife. Would you please tell this very charming gaggle of not-at-all rat-like babes that I am by no accounts this Losa woman, nor do I sing, in fact. I'm deathly allergical. Oh, they're not so bad. At least not when they're treating me, Madam Josephine Gribble de Peeve, with due deference.
The children break out into giggles.
What? What's so funny?
Her pinched face cracks into a great grin, and she shoos the children away from her with a laugh.
Yeah, okay, you found me out. Go on and git, and maybe I'll sing you something when I'm good and ready.
She turns to you, dark-eyed and dirty-haired, and smiles flatly.
Gotta keep ourselves entertained, haven't we? You presume right. Thanks, but I already belong to an elite and exclusive ship gang. We play ball every day after lunch. You're too soft for it. You take care, though.
Suddenly, her eyes cloud to an unnatural black. Greyish veins run down her face, and her mouth tightens into a cruel sneer. As quickly as they came, the clouds clear. She smiles as though no change came over her.
Good luck, Chief.
Mad? Insufferable, surely.
What are you trying to hear anyway?
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
Kid, you been down by the room up the hall?
A broad dwarf sits totally upright on the bench, eyes closed, palms face up on his knees. His beard is a cascade of meticulous plaits, each one braided through with golden medallions. He raises an eyebrow as you approach, but doesn't open his eyes.
Listen up, Ghetto. You hear that?
The ship, of course.
A wave of sound washes over you. The unintelligible chatter of your shipmates, the groaning of wood from floor to ceiling, the boom, crash and crackle of waves around you, complaints from the sea itself.
And?
The fellow cocks his ear, listening.
That isn't anger, it's
He cocks his ear to the other side, then smiles.
anticipation. She senses something. I'd hold on to my breeches if I were you, mate. That's all you hear, though. Listen close. There now, just like that.
Squeak!
Aha!
His eyes snap open as his countenance breaks into an expression of joy. One great paw claps you on the back. The other catches you before you lose your footing.
There, you heard it, didn't you? I knew it. I knew it. Aye, this is good news, Ghetto. Good news. It's the wheel. The wheel, don't you see, you beautiful idiot? Squeaks whenever the helmsman jerks it clockwise, which means we're heading east. Burn my beard. That means if we've been travelling for, yes, only 10.34 nautical miles to Fort Joy.
Nothing else I can make, Your Majesty. Turnips and water are all I was given.
Unacceptable. I've never dined on anything less than a dozen-course dinner, and I don't intend to do away with the custom.
Well, there has been a murder, Your Majesty. Maybe that has the Majesty's Northern...
Ah, so you've eyes as well as ears, eh? You'll go far, mate, even here.
When you clearly don't know the first thing.
Yeah, no indeed, Ghetto. But that ain't my final destination.
The dwarf leans back from the table and strokes his beard, gold medallions jingling merrily. His eyes roll over to you.
That'll be all, thank ye kindly, Ghetto.
Your kind always hung closest to our divine, like wolves around a campfire.
Well, we've got this, we've got a leash now.
soon as the Inquisitor gets here, we'll hang you right over the side of this ship with it.
Well, well. What have we here? A fresh face in this stale hell. Let's size you up, shall we? See if you'll do.
The lizard looks you up and down, like a farmer would a fetching horse. All of a sudden, he grips you firmly by the chin, with the intent of inspecting your teeth.
I'm inspecting your teeth, in case that wasn't spectacularly obvious. There's some discoloration, as well as a rather disconcerting lack of tongue and gums, but I've seen worse. After all, one can't expect to find prime merchandise on a squalid little ship like this. Now then, to business. You will answer me 3 questions. The first one is this. Can you cook? And of course, a cook who can't taste is about as useful as a dog in a chess game. On to the second question. Can you knit, weave? In short, tailor?
As soon as the Inquisitor gets here, we'll hang you right over the side of this ship with it.
Yes, I can tell from your vagabond chic, a bag is as good as a shirt kind of style, I shouldn't be getting my hopes up.
You put a knuckle in it. I'm trying to concentrate.
On then to my final query. Have you the ability to administer the upkeep of one's personal appearance? The delicate art of cosmetics is what I'm after.
Can we just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up?
The very basics, then. I suppose that's a start. So, 3 questions asked, 3 questions answered. Let's evaluate, shall we? As per your own testimony, you can groom, but you have the taste buds of a dung beetle and the fashion sense of a monkey in a clown suit. That won't do at all, see? I'm sad to say I must deny you the opportunity to be my slave. Ever so sorry.
Your kind always hung closest to our divine, like wolves around a campfire.
My slave, of course. Oh, but I see. Yes, I suppose it must take some time for the full extent of my disheartening refusal to sink in. Still, hone your skills, and one day you may just qualify for a position in a lesser household than mine. You keep dreaming, you hear?
Would you put a knuckle in it? I'm trying to concentrate.
They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
A scruffy man lounges against the wall with scarred arms folded. A sly smile playing on his face, he stares across at the Magister guarding him. Noticing you, he straightens and beckons for you to come closer.
Watch your back, new fish. There's a murderer on board, and I'd bet 3 months' pay it's this tramp Ifan.
Rolling his eyes at the Magister's warning, the man named Ifan beckons again. He leans in and adjusts your collar with a sharp tug, balancing its weight so it no longer presses unpleasantly on your neck.
Pinches less that way, right?
Hocking a phlegmy gobbet in your general direction, the sullen Magister settles back to his task of glowering at Ifan. And now, you.
We used to know each other, more's the pity. I was his commander many, many, many moons ago. Isn't that right, Vic?
Standing far back from Ifan, the tight-faced Magister draws one finger across his throat in an elaborate fashion, but says nothing. Ifan grins, flashing pointed white teeth.
Same as he was at 14 years old. Only difference is somebody gave him a bigger sword, and now he's Johnny Big Pants. Long story. Maybe I'll tell you about it in the Joy. Away from interested parties. No. The dead man, Finn, is it? I'd no business with him. And I wouldn't put a man down without good reason.
He glances over at Magister Victor, who's staring back at him with pointed intensity.
Damn shame sheer annoyance isn't reason enough. The Joy, I've heard a lot. Nothing good. No surprise there, since Bishop Alexander runs the show. Wonder if we'll get to meet the ringmaster himself.
Turnips and water are all I was given.
Unacceptable. I've never dined on anything less than a dozen course dinner, and I don't intend to do away.
Not eager to bow before the great Bishop Alexander, son of the divine himself. My sentiments exactly. But Vic here will blow a blood vessel if he hears you talking like that.
What are you conspiring about over there? You, Lizard, what's your name?
Oh, don't mind him. Vic's just got a bee in his bonnet. And that bee is me.
Name?
Magister Victor looks at you suspiciously, then scrawls something illegible down in a tiny notebook. He scowls at you as he stows the notebook back in his voluminous robes.
I'll find out. I always do. Now away with you, at once.
Ifan performs an elaborate pantomime of keeping quiet, one finger in front of his lips as he leans back against the wall. An elf sits tucked away in a dark spot, lazily rolling dice onto the surface of a barrel. They sound like the dry cackling of an old witch.
Snake eyes.
She chuckles.
I bet that's just what they'll look like. Rolling dice, deciding fates.
She eyes you quite seriously.
Not the future, no, but I can read the past in flesh. One of the perks of being an elf, you see. I'm quite good at it, too. I could lick your arm and tell you how you spent the night before last. Shall I?
She chuckles once more.
That red-cheeked refusal tells me more than licking you would. But suit yourself, darling.
She smiles contemptuously.
Just a kitten in a corner, aren't we?
Insufferable, surely.
What are you trying to hear anyway?
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long.
The elf is reading a volume of Cranley Hubert's famous encyclopedia. He looks up, his big round eyes scanning your body, absorbing every detail. He reaches out and examines your bandages, rubbing them between his fingers.
Fascinating.
He sits back and returns to his book, flicking quickly from page to page, completely oblivious to your presence.
Ah, yes. The niceties. My name is Fane. I am a scholar from... well, I am a seeker of knowledge. That is enough. It is pleasurable to meet you. Is there? Wherever do you keep it? Certainly not in your books. I have been reading this one for... I know the beginning of this tale and the end, but I am rather missing the middle. Tell me, what do you know of our world's history? Oh, please. I have no interest in that. Your books are too full of it already. No, I want to know about the Celestial. I want to know about your gods. This text tells me that they created all creatures, but nothing of what came before. Where did these gods come from? Who are their people? Where are the others of their kind? Of course you don't have any useful information. Why did I expect anything else? Now, please, run along. I have a world to decipher.
No amount of pestering will get the elf to take his eyes off his book or respond to your questions.
Here's the register, ma'am. Good, good. Magister Williams is just about done with the last passenger. You faring okay so far?
He tugs the collar of his uniform and chuckles.
Sorry you're upset, ma'am, but we all wear what we wear for a reason. You head on in now. Williams will get you sorted fast.
Standing at the centre of the room, you spot a sorcerer haughtily eyeing a pair of nervous-looking magisters. They keep their crossbow trained upon her as she's being interrogated by an officer.
So you admit it then? You murdered that poor fella?
Yes, I did. But of course that was only the beginning.
She turns her head and looks you straight in the eye.
There are others whose lives must end.
Good God, the woman's mad. You there, sorcerer, go and fetch Magister Siwan. We need to do more than collar this maniac. We need to shackle her, hands and feet.
It means your journey draws to a close. Do stick around for its finale, though, because...
She reaches for her collar and simply removes it.
I'm just about to create a scene.
Subdue her, men, quickly! If she casts source, the Voidwoken will come. They'll end us all.
She smiles with wicked satisfaction.
Precisely.
What's happened? Not long before this thing snaps into splinters. What in blazes? Something's pounding on the hull. That doesn't bode well. Onwards and upwards.
Suddenly face to face with an undead. His skull is bizarrely angular, and a glorious jewel sits in the middle of his forehead. The skeleton is quickly leafing through a volume of Cranley Hubert's famous encyclopedia, muttering to himself.
No, no, no! What damn fools record knowledge on a pulped tree? It catches fire, it turns into must when wet, it cannot even resist acid! No wonder they're so bloody ignorant.
The skeleton looks up and notices you for the first time.
Oh, it's you. Shouldn't you be running and screaming or some such?
The skeleton groans and looks back to his book, frantically flipping from page to page.
Yes, indeed. It's the look of someone that wants to read the bloody book he's holding. Now, if you're really quite finished, I believe you have lifeboats to flee. Please, I was no more an elf than you are those rags you're wearing. I had a mask, rather ingeniously designed, which allowed me to take that primitive form. A mask that was stolen by that damned witch after her little scene. Still, she'll drown with the rest of these fools, and I will simply pluck my mask from her cold, dead hands. Remember, you may not...
The skeleton resumes his search. The marking on the door was painted recently. Judging from... You press your palm against the door, it doesn't budge. The door groans open, but...
Good thing I'm immune. Still, this means trouble.
The dwarf yanks at one of the nearby ropes to no avail.
You said there were other people down there. Wait.
You see those tentacles, kid? It's time for getting the hell out of here.
Duck! There's a ladder right over there.
You're gonna be the death of us here.
If you can walk, get yourself off the ladder. There's a Wait! Void Vulcan!
Beardless bugs would sink a ship on my watch.
Let the games begin.
They who are about to triumph see. Glory is mine.
I thought Void Woken was supposed to be scary.
dwarf. You're going to be...
If you can walk.
Wait! Void Vulcan!
These beardless bugs won't sink the ship on my watch.
I thought Void Woken was supposed to be scary.
Let the games begin.
I've faced worse.
They who are about to triumph.
I hear something. It's away. The sea's hungry.
Magister Siwan.
She tries to speak, but can only gape as she clutches her neck, trying to stem the bleeding of a gushing wound. With jagged movements, she raises her clenched fist and holds out a length of cloth, soaked with some kind of strong-smelling tincture. Blood quickly soaks through the cloth. Magister Siwan's mouth opens and closes, her eyes wide in terror. It's working. The pressure is stemming the flow of blood. Siwan clutches your arm, her eyes locked with yours. Something within the ship snaps. The floorboards shudder. Siwan struggles to her feet, clinging to you tightly. The ship lets out a deep groan, then cracks.
I have plans for you, child. Rise.
Honorable Dallas, we lost a ship sailing sorcerer prisoners to Fort Joy. We assume some escaped and broke their collars. Their vile magic lured the Voidwoken. All who were aboard are presumed dead. Yours faithfully into eternity, High Judge Oriben.
Those Voidwoken made short, bloody work of the ship. Am I the lone survivor? It seems someone, something, wanted me alive. I thought the Order would get rid of any trace of the old Source King.
The child has a small mirror in his hands. He holds it up at angles, inspecting his eyes, his chin, the crown of his head. He spots you, and his arms snap to his sides.
I'm not supposed to talk to lizards.
The child considers your statement.
You're weird. Are you a sorcerer? One of those guys that brings the bad void things here?
The child looks at you straight on, unafraid, searching the shadows cloaking your face. He lifts his mirror to his nose, closes one eye, and looks at himself again.
I don't see any source on you or me. I guess they're wrong or crazy. Maybe you're right. At least they don't mind where anyone goes. They know we can't leave the island, and it's a lot nicer out here than outside. But you didn't die. There isn't anywhere safer. That's what I mean. You'll see.
Voidwoken! Those are the same beasts that sank our ship. Damn, they've made it to shore. bloody collars were supposed to keep those things at bay. Drowned and eaten by a void woken. I wonder in which order.
You spot a strange lizard gazing over the water with a steady, malcontent stare. His skin is of a bright, blood-red colour. Could he be... Yes, you recognize him from the ship. It would seem you're not the only one who survived the tentacles of the deep. The lizard turns about with the graceful ease of a dancer, or a duelist. You lock eyes with his, two smouldering embers that sizzle your very soul.
Yes, I imagine you do. You're made of sterner stuff than I first gave you credit for. Chances are I... down in that dreadful hold. You have my gratitude.
Hand over heart, he salutes you with a bob of the head. More than a nod, though less than a bow.
My gratitude is worth a great deal, if only you'd realize it. But of course you don't, so we'll leave it at that. Now then, if there's nothing further... I'm sure I don't mean to sound condescending, but I had thought it quite self-evident I was gazing out over the waves.
He sighs dramatically.
Tell me, what do you see when you cast your glance over this ocean? Memories. Quite so.
He looks out over the water once more, and so do you. A few tranquil moments pass as the waves lap against your thoughts.
As for myself, when I consider this vast expanse before us, I see an empire. I see continents dotted with mighty cities, and shimmering along the soft curve of the sea's horizon, I picture the palaces that formed my paradise. Lost. Yes, but these weren't castles in the sky, were they? Quite obviously, I was musing over the very actual empire that I lost.
Suddenly, having all the air of being deeply offended, he stares at you with utter incredulity.
Well, don't just stand there gawking like an ape at an abacus. Or do you really mean to tell me you don't know who I am? The very same. I am the Red Prince, the All-Conqueror, the World-Tamer, the Spouse of the Sun. Of course you know me.
There's a brief moment's pause, during which his grandiloquent pose deflates ever so slightly.
That said, I suppose I must own up to the fact that I find myself rather in between all-conquering and world-taming opportunities at the moment. The grandeur that is my fate has hit a bit of a snag. But never you worry. For the throne I was destined, and my throne I shall have. This and that. Tag along. Do you really mean to compare the fate of an empire to whatever foibles you seek to fix? On the other hand, I really could do with a dog's body. And you've already proven to be trustworthy enough. You came back for the others on that ship, after all. Fine, I accept. On one condition. For reasons I'll not disclose right now, it is imperative that I should meet with a dreamer, one of our kind's revered mystics. I've reason to believe one of them may be present on this island. Promise me we'll look for him, and I'll extend you the blessing of my company. You do tend to beat around the bush, don't you? Oh, well, that wishy-washy answer will have to do then. The undead? Like your good self, you mean? Come now, did you really think a handful of linen towels can fool me? But don't worry. I have studied the arcane arts for years, including necromancy and demonology. I do not hold the petty prejudices of common folks. In fact, I prefer the exceptional in all things. Your secret is safe with me. So, now that that's settled, first things first. Even if you are as versed in the art of eloquence as I am, that our swords will be doing a lot of the talking from here on out goes without saying. As a born fighter, I prefer the perfection of the blade myself. But I'm well acquainted with the secrets of magic, and yes, even subterfuge. What say you? Do not take my elegance as a mask for frailty. My blows shatter shields, and my thrusts pierce armor. If a warrior you need, the warrior you'll have. Wavering is a sign of weakness, so wizardry is embedded in my nature as deeply as the instincts to breathe and drink and mate. The dominion over fire suits very well. Onwards then.
The Red Prince nods.
Now, as you're aware, you'll be travelling with a prince. Proper forms of address include Your Majesty, Your Royal Highness, or if you're feeling particularly frivolous, Milord. As your luck would have it, I seem to be fresh out of luggage, so you won't be required to carry my belongings. Of course, there are other forms of protocol to bear in mind, but I'll see to it you'll pick up the rest as we go. So, without further ado, let us be off.
A black cat. I like cats, but I wouldn't eat a whole one.
The cat's eyes are clouded and grey, but it stares at you with acute intensity. Its eyes clear, and it shakes its head, confused.
Stay back, sorcerer, and stay silent. Our Godwoken speaks.
We know you've been helping sorcerers escape, Atusa. We have proof.
I'd sooner cut my tongue out than lie to you, Alexander. I know nothing of any escapees.
If you can tell the Godwoken no more, your tongue is of no use. Cut it out.
This can't be serious, Alexander. Come.
You should know by now to obey your superior, Magister, whatever she may ask.
Stay silent, lizard!
Atusa pinches the tip of her tongue with 2 fingers and brings her dagger to its root. Her eyes squeeze shut. Drops of blood form against the dagger's edge and quickly fall to the ground. She groans.
Stop! My father, may his soul rest in peace, would be disappointed in you, Atusa. To think you would lie to his only son. The fate of our realm hangs in the balance. If you will not help us save it, then you will help the Void destroy it. Dallas?
Yes, you're her...
I believe we're done here.
What a waste. Come, we'll be needed elsewhere.
The lizard magister, or what's left of her, lies in a puddle of gore.
She was a lizard, yet a magister. No matter her reasons, her penalty was fair.
Come on then, Lexi. Pay up.
I find only bread. I want no trouble.
Bread or a brisket, toll's the same.
Your grift teaches you to bully others. Pathetic.
You keep his name out of your mouth, you filthy cud chewer.
Have your cud. Hello.
Disgusting.
You
Just
gonna
like
pray
all
all day,
your
buddy?
kind.
Disgusting like sex. Disgusting like threat. Hey, I know you.
Losa, the dark-eyed jokester you met aboard the ship, waves enthusiastically and dips into a mock elegant curtsy.
Back then I was Madame Josephine Gribbles de Pube. And you were you. Glad to see you made it. Nothing like a nice tentacle slap across the moor to set the tone for the week, eh? How'd you escape? Me too. Did you hear something? When you were in the water, I mean. I heard the same thing. Do you know what this means? It means I'm not the only...
Losa's voice catches in her throat. The joy drains from her face. Her eyes lose focus, and her whole body goes rigid. She is stock-still, waxy-skinned, her eyes dark. Greyish-black veins run from her eyes down her cheeks. Her head snaps to you mechanically, and her eyes lock with yours, dark pupils dilated into great black voids. Light suddenly flashes back into her face. The grey veins drain to pinkish flesh, and her whole body relaxes.
Anyway, what were we talking about? Oh, yeah. It was a shipwreck, all right. Not much more to say about it, I guess. Papa Joris used to tell me, Losa, he'd say, Losa, you ever find yourself in a sinking ship, follow the rats. They'll find you a way out. Applies to a lot of situations, actually. Vermin tend to know what's what. It's nothing really. It's just... I'm just a bit hospitable. Put it like this. You've never been a host, I bet. That's because you're an infested clump of leaves on the side of the road. That ain't bad, though. I'd give just about anything to be like you. But I'm a roadside inn. Red door, flowers out front, friendly lady at the door beckoning you in for half price. Like a goddamn gold star inn for the disembodied. Feels like just one, strangely enough. Big one, though. Don't know its name yet, either. It takes time for them to get comfortable and introduce themselves. So, how are you enjoying the joy? So true. And you can stay as long as your heart desires, free of charge. So, you want to check this place out together? Strength in numbers and all that. It does, right? Before we head out, I've got more than a few tricks up my sleeve, so you'll have to pick which one I'll pull out if... when push comes to shove. Lately I've been into the enchanting arts, but I can shoot, slash, summon, steal, whatever your little black heart desires. So, what'll it be? I'm not afraid of getting my hands greasy, if that's what you mean. What are you interested in exactly? Sounds fine. So, we're good to go? Yeah? Well, that was easier than I thought. And I'll do my best to stay myself. Lead the way. Well, duh. I'm sure that disguise will fool most people, but I'm a very sensitive and discerning soul. Most fleshy folks aren't really alive anyway. Don't sweat it. Or whatever it is you do. Now, let's go.
I find only bread. I want no trouble.
Bread or brisket, toast the same.
Your grift teaches you to bully others. Pathetic.
You keep his name out of your mouth, you filthy cod chewer.
Have you, cud?
Disgusting. Just like all your kind.
Disgusting like threats?
Great God! Will you quit dragging this on? Ain't that hard, Lexley. Just hand over the gold.
I will not.
Come on then, Lexley. Pay up.
I find only bread. I want no trouble.
Bread or a brisket. Gold's the same.
Your grift teaches you to bully others. Pathetic.
You keep his name out of your mouth, you filthy cunt, you up.
Have your cut.
Disgusting. Just like all your kind.
Disgusting like threats.
Great God! Will you quit dragging this on? Ain't that hard, Lexley. Just hand over the gold.
I will not.
So this is Fort Joy.
What a crumbling disaster.
The delivery. Surely you'll have one. Please. Scram, snake face. Worse than war rations, these.
Maybe you don't speak ancient. What I mean is, I'm very tired. Unless you have a bit of... Never mind. Excuse me.
Worse than war rations, these.
Griff is slowly, methodically peeling the skin from a potato. As you approach, he looks up, setting the potato, but not the sharp little knife, down on the table.
What? Who's asking?
He smirks and holds the little knife up to the light, watching it glint.
I'm listening. They'll cure you of your sauce. Nightshade will cure you of an headache too.
He points the tip of his blade at the grisly sight of the elf hunched over, clutching his knees in the cage.
I solve my own problems. Can't help you there. If I could, I wouldn't be here peeling goddamn potatoes. Sure, have a look. Good stuff, huh?
Watch yourself.
Leave it, Sam. I won't say it again. Come on, chap. Don't be unreasonable. Better if you accuse yourself of death than get purged. Don't you think? You should be happy to agree to.
What did you say?
That's what will happen. Now, let's not get nasty.
When another
Treats
divine
better
arrives,
off, I'm sure.
will source change back? What if there are no sorcerers?
Easy now, old chap.
Yet so quickly, we find sources so dangerous.
Gods. What is the smell, though?
One more
Goodness, but this place has made you cranky. Car, please. Excuse us.
You're talking to me, not her, Sam.
Oh, for the love of Lucian, Balladeer. You're acting like a madman.
Say it again. What you said about my wife. Go on. Go on, Sam.
Well, it's the truth, and you know it. She's better off. So what if it was messy?
I'd rather puke myself to death 1,000 times than let the Reds get to me. If she were my wife, I'd be happy for her.
A flat smile twitches across Bal...
She never did like you.
I might see if you wanted to get out of this place. Though maybe I ought to ask someone who isn't a prissy fop. I have a plan. A good one. But I need a partner. I've been here a long time. I have a way out. Are you interested? Believe whatever you want. It's an attaboy. The plan's... There's an artifact that you can use to teleport me out of this place. Then I can use my spell to free you in turn. This item, though, it's in quite an unfortunate location. It's found its way into a nest of crocodilians on a secluded beach nearby. Here, give me your map and I'll show you where to go. Not enough to trouble a fine specimen such as yourself. Get that artifact, and you and I are as good as free. Go give those lizards... Pardon, what for? Right. Will you quit dragging this on? Ain't that hard, Lexi? Just hand over the gold.
I will not.
I found some. Let's hope this is worth the digging. What's this? I found something. Almost there.
Here lies a nameless inmate. May he find the peace denied him in life in the Hall of Echoes.
I wonder where this leads.
As the alcove opens up, you see the same skeleton that you met on the boat before it sank. He's still not wearing his mask. He's leaning over a corpse, prodding and pulling at the skin of its face.
Bugger. How on earth am I supposed to... Oh. Perhaps...
Skeletal fingers reach down and grip the skin of the dead man's face, pulling sharply upwards. After a few more tugs at the man's cheeks, the skeleton relents, letting the head drop to the ground with a damp thud.
Damnation! That stuck fast. I wonder, does the beard act as some form of anchor? Ah! No! Stay back! Don't... Oh, it's you. I must admit I'm surprised. Perhaps you're more buoyant than I suspected. Oh, yes. An exceptionally common, but exceptionally valuable commodity. A face. A face that seems rather stubbornly attached to his skull. I would normally employ a tool to delicately but viciously rip the face from the body. I could then craft a mask to hide my bone. But as I lack such a tool...
The skeleton grabs the corpse by the cheeks and pulls hard, grunting in frustration as the body's skin holds firm.
Oh, don't be ridiculous. I have important things to do on Reaper's Coast. I cannot simply sit about waiting for the rest of you to die so I may continue my business in peace. No, I may be an Eternal, but my patience has its limits. Indeed, I may be the only Eternal. My people seem rather absent, at least from this realm. As for the others, well... There is an excavation site at the Black Pit's oil fields. Perhaps there I'll find my answers. A cult? Hardly. We were a race that existed before the idea of race was needed. We were all one. I could ask you to imagine an Eternal as a creature of incredible intelligence and skill. But I fear the limits of your imagination would not do us justice. We studied the mysteries of the universe. We created works of great art. We disappeared. But I will find them. Wherever they are, I will find them. We will have our world again. Ah, well, that is the curious thing. They are clearly absent from this world, and yet they are everywhere. Every one of your races resembles them in some manner, and the statues you have built to your gods look remarkably familiar. Perhaps my people have ascended to some new realm, or perhaps your gods are merely a folk memory. Regardless, they are not here. But I will find them. Wherever they are, I will find them. Well, that hardly seems relevant. But if you must know, I was inconvenienced for a time. Several centuries, in fact. Or perhaps millennia. One tends to lose track. I was sealed in a tomb for daring to be curious about the world. It seems our king did not agree that the universe should be explored to its full potential. Perhaps I should thank him. It seems I was spared whatever happened to the others. I wonder if flowers would be appropriate. Yes, do feel free to call. By which I mean shout loudly. I do not want you sneaking up on me again.
Hey, lady. It's a lot nicer here than that stinking boat, huh? I'm sure glad you went back to save the others. Saw one of them wringing out their tunic at the shore a few hours ago. Say hi for me.
Come on, old man. I can't wait all day.
Nothing like threats.
Right, God. Will you quit bragging?
Come on, you stubborn hunk of garbage.
The dwarf's fingers clamp around a splintered chunk of wood nailed to the skeleton of an old ship. His whole body strains with the effort of wrenching the plank free, to no avail.
Ah! Got two of my own, haven't I?
The dwarf spits into each of his calloused palms and rubs them together before placing them both back on the plank and pulling.
Bleeding nail must be charmed or something. Go on then, give it a go.
You grab the plank and pull. The rusted nail pops loose, and the plank promptly crumbles to pieces in your hand.
Well, look at that. Nice of you to finish the job after I loosened her up.
He winks and flips a gold coin toward you. It makes a long, high arc, glinting in the sun, and lands squarely in your hand.
For your trouble. No, but I'd hoped to build something with it that would be worth 1,000. Yeah, it were a fool's errand thinking I could make something out of this heap, but I couldn't help myself from trying.
He sucks a finger and holds it up to the wind, testing the breeze.
Winds like these, she would have capsized before she reached the break. Well, on to plan B.
He gives you a wry look, as though deciding whether to trust you.
Aye, was planning to build me a raft and paddle off. I've got business north of here, in a town called Driftwood. Far be it from me to miss an appointment. Why don't we make a deal then? You help me get out of this place, and I'll do the same for you. Happy to trundle around with a group of amateurs at your heels, are you? Or not but your own skinny shadow? Your funeral, lass. I'll be here when you change your mind.
Patience, Mal. Patience.
I found you, didn't I? Red, they said. Red, then dead. Them that pay the bills, of course. I'll be a rich man when you're 6 feet under. Time's up, Your Highness. Let's dance. It's stabbing time.
nuisance these assassins are. It's their frightful manners I mind the most, really.
Tides in, and out, and in again.
Well, that was rather fun, wasn't it? I do find it ever so invigorating to cut a cutthroat's throat. Oh, one gets used to this kind of thing so quickly. This is hardly the first time someone's filled some poor fool's purse and bid him kill the prince. I'll tell you what, though. Whomever wants me out of the picture will have to do a lot better if they seek to get the better of me. All those bumblers they've sent so far mark a mere insult to my swordsmanship.
Patience, Mal. Patience. Patience. Patience, Mal. Patience.
Amid the squalor of Fort Joy, you suddenly spot an elf with diamond features, regal and radiant, but cold too, and sharper than any knife. She was the one who sat rolling dice in the ship that went under, deciding fates with every roll, or so she said. Her eyes are focused on a lizard some distance away, and you get the distinct feeling he's an unfortunate man indeed to be trapped in her tiger-like gaze. No sooner have these words left your mouth than she turns about and grabs you in a stranglehold. You feel the tip of a long needle being pushed a little ways into one of your neck's vertebrae.
You caught me off guard. No one catches me off guard. Better tell me who you really are, so I can decide your fate here and now. But you did, and now the tables have turned. You look quite startled to me.
A push, a pivot, and now you suddenly face her, the needle still all too deeply embedded in bone. Despite the precariousness of your situation, you notice something that remained undetected in the gloom of the ship. A flaw in her diamond features. A curiously shaped scar on her left cheek.
It's dawning on you, isn't it? Why I hate reptiles like you. Forgive me if I don't take your word for it.
She drives the needle in deeper and whispers.
In truth, it does not matter in the least who you really are. You saw me mark my prey. You could warn him, save him, or kill him before I get my chance. That makes you a liability. That makes you needle feed. Your death will be slower, more painful, but fair enough, if you insist. Never. You are a lizard, perhaps a slaver. Why should I freely chain my fate to one like you, like I was once forced to? You did save me, didn't you? Ugh, how aggravating. Oh, little needle mine, what should I do? Push or pull? The agony of choice. You know what? Today is a rather fine day. Sunshine and an easy breeze. Yes, I'll let you live. I'll even agree to travel with you, provided we talk to another lizard. The one I've had my eye on. I'm not quite sure the weather will save him.
With a casual flick of the wrist, she withdraws the needle from your neck and smiles, as if she just invited you to sit down for tea.
Yes, the needle did find you rather tough to chew. Nothing it can't handle, though, nor finish. This may strike you as, rather eccentric, but the thought of traveling with one such as yourself quite enthuses me.
She tilts her head ever so slightly and looks at you almost mockingly. You can't help but contemplate with both dread and delight the absolute darkness at the heart of her cat's eyes.
Yes, this will be jolly good fun. Let's discuss our... Yumi and Death will be playing many a round of hide-and-seek. So, what role would you like me to play? As a rogue, my speciality is stealth, the quick silence of the dagger striking unseen. That said, I'm perfectly lethal, wielding any weapon or magic. So, the choice is yours. Suits me fine. Lead on, or back then follow me.
You're not quite certain.
Your eyes brim with inquiry, so...
Are you certain you want to dismiss?
If we have different...
Pipe down, Clara. It's time to accept reality.
Griff teaches you to bully others.
Again, can't...
He lifts the corpse.
It could be worse, although they could certainly be better. I suppose, circumstances being what they are, you seem more at ease in this world than I. A guide would certainly be useful. Excellent. While we are conversing, perhaps you noticed that, of course, the arcane arts are my little speciality. But being a brilliant wizard does not mean I cannot handle blade or bow. So, which do you require for this enterprise of yours? Much magic? I was controlling the powers of the universe while your people were still doing whatever it is you used to do. What speciality would you prefer? I could do that with one hand behind my spine. Now, shall we get on? There is rather a lot to see. Splendid. Very well. Let's be off.
Where is she? You go with us. Who are you? Are you from the shelter? She says nothing of another. Fire, alas! She is so late! Never mind. It is not your concern. You leave. But...
She leans forward. Her eyes are wet with fear as she takes your hand.
Please, do not lead anyone here. To these turtles? They're transforming.
swallowed too much seawater by the looks of him.
Foolish to attempt an escape by sea in these waters.
I spotted something. Never hurts to get your claws dirty now and then.
Teaches you to bully others. Pathetic.
You keep his name out of your mouth, you filthy cud chewer.
Have your cud.
Disgusting, just like all your kind.
Disgusting, like...
As you approach the blacksmith, you feel a bony hand on your arm. Fane leans in and whispers in your ear.
If it would be acceptable, I have an inquiry for this human. It is of a personal nature. And if it would not be acceptable, well, that would render this entire conversation rather awkward. What? This world has been inflicted on me. I cannot help it if your barbaric culture does not yet appreciate me. But fine. You talk to the greased-up ape. See what I care.
Amidst a crowd of screws, bolts and scraps of metal, the woman is manipulating a glove-like contraption fitted with 5 long metal skewers. She doesn't look up as you approach.
What you after?
A grin
Sure thing.
Your grit teaches you to bully others. Pathetic.
You keep his name out of your mouth.
Have your cud.
Amidst a crowd of screw...
And what you after? I ain't. Just seeing how it's made.
She looks up.
You looking to buy something? Found it in the scrap heap. Never knew her to be much of a wrench head back in the day, but...
She nods once.
You looking to buy something? Or do you just want to waste my time with a whole lot of questions? For you? Hell no. That's for me to know, and you to get out of my face. Buy or shove off. All manner of things. Have a look.
Your grit teaches you to bully others. Pathetic.
You keep his name out of your mouth. Disgusting. Just like all your kind.
Disgusting like theft. Disgusting like threats.
Right, God. Will you quit dragging this on? Ain't that hard, Lexi. Just hand
Is it
over
not
the
enough
gold.
that you travel with me? Must you speak too? Go on then, bark away. Let's see if we can find any method in it. Oh, I think of them as little as possible. As much, I imagine, as you think of gadflies that buzz about you. Not that there is anything wrong with you, of course, just that you're, well, not all that impressive.
I find only bread. I want no trouble.
Bread or brisket, told the same.
Your grit teaches you to bully others. Pathetic.
You keep his name out of your mouth, you filthy cunt chewer.
Have your cud.
Disgusting. Just
Who in their right mind?
That sounded dangerously close to an independent thought. How surprisingly self-aware of you. Regardless, further study will be required. In fact...
The skeleton pulls a notebook from his robes and starts scribbling. After a moment, he pauses and looks back to you.
Sorry, do carry on. Just act as you do in your natural environment. Simply pretend I'm not here. The Mask of the Shapeshifter? In my time, it was nothing more than a novelty. A toy, really. I crafted one for my child once. She spent the day trying to convince me that she was her mother, even though the face I used looked nothing like her. Of course, now that toy could be the difference between life and... well, it makes a difference. With that mask, I can shapeshift and walk through this world looking like any other simple mortal. I could look like a lizard, a dwarf, a human, any creature whose face I can procure. It certainly makes traveling through towns easier. Oh, it's quite simple. One just acquires a face, a source orb, and combines the two to make a face mask. Combining several of these single face masks, along with a source orb, will produce a mask of the shapeshifter. Frankly, I'm amazed everyone isn't doing it.
Your grit teaches you to bully others. Pathetic.
Oh, of course there are. How many hundreds while still wearing perfectly serviceable faces? It's a terrific waste. Still, without the proper tool to remove the face from a corpse, I cannot take advantage of the many cadavers you're providing. So if you happen across anything that seems capable of ripping a face off a body, please do let me know. Trust you bloody-minded beasts to turn a child's trinket into a wicked purpose. People like you are the reason it must be recovered. I am using the mask to keep myself safe from the violence of this world. Who knows what evil it could do in the hands of some mortal witch?
Alice, you maniac.
Well, I thought a brief swim in the sea, lying in the sun for a while, and maybe read a nice... Or, perhaps, and this is just a thought, we could find my mask and escape this wretched island. Ah, this is perhaps the first intelligent question you have asked. After all, one should always try to learn from one's betters.
Who in their right mind would think of a thing like this?
Come on.
I find only bread. I want no trouble.
My people are a race far beyond anything that exists in the world today. We seek to master the secrets of the universe. We craft wonders to last through the ages, long after your crude tools have rusted to nothing. There is a great variety among our people. Some are tall and lithe, others short and muscled. Some come in a variety of eye-catching colors. Others you can barely see at all. This is what makes you such an abomination, you see. You look almost exactly like every other creature of your race. Doubly so, now that you're dead. Walking through this world is as repulsively bland as staring at a wall for a century. After a while, the very sight of you disgusts me. No offense, of course. I do not know. There are rumors that some have been found at the Black Pits, an oil field on Reaper's Coast. I was trying to uncover the truth when I was waylaid by these magisters. But wherever the artifacts of my people are, I will find them. We have not simply vanished into thin air.
Just hand over the gold.
Hey.
Not.
Hi. Ooh, so serious. What's up? Well, I was giving this concert up on Overlook Hill. There was a great crowd. They were really feeling it. But I guess it was too good. I had me a little sauce flare-up. Everyone went a bit, I don't know, wild, rabid. I snapped out of it before anyone got hurt, but the Magisters caught me backstage afterwards. At least I went down doing what I loved. Of course I do. What's your poison?
Have you cud?
Just like all your kind.
Disgusting like threats.
Right, God. Will you quit dragging this on?
I've got it.
Losa clears her throat and starts stomping a steady beat into the ground, kicking up dust that dances to the rhythm. Slowly, she claps an intricate pattern above the beat, hips swaying, head nodding. The beat builds into a riot of sound, her hands and feet moving in an inscrutable pattern. She takes a deep breath and starts humming above the rhythm, a sound like a train, like a flock of birds, like nothing else.
Savage hearts in it. I can't.
Have you cud?
Just like all your kind.
Disgusting like threats.
Apparently not. All the more reason to find out what it is and get it out. Let's keep moving. Nope. This one doesn't talk to me. It talks through me. You'll know it when you see it. How very sweet of you to notice. I know, it's weird. One of the many side effects of the visitor upstairs.
She drums on her forehead with 2 fingers, smiles grimly, and shrugs.
They used to be blue. Oh well. Ha, well, this is the real me. I've always been a host. I'm not too keen on this particular companion, of course, but I can't remember a stretch of longer than a few days that there wasn't some kind of lodger knocking around up there. Most of them are friendly. Interesting too. Chatty, musical. It's fun. Inspirational, usually. Sometimes I wonder what my voice sounds like, you know? So what's it like, being alone in your head?
Your griff teaches you to bully others.
Peaceful never was my forte.
Have you, cud?
Easy. I'd say we get out of this place. Don't know how long they plan to keep us here, but I'd rather not find out.
Right, man. Will you quit dragging this on? Ain't that hard, Legsley. Just hand over the gold.
You, help me teach this beast. He must respect. If not, he comes for you next.
Respect? Huh. Someone's got to keep this place running. Griff can't do it for free. Why'd you gotta make this so hard?
An intense-looking man steps between the thug and the elf and rolls up his sleeves, revealing well-muscled and heavily scarred arms. You recognize him. It's Ifan, who you met aboard the ship on the way here.
Just stand aside, won't you, mate? This is no business of yours.
Lone wolves decide their own business.
The thug freezes in fear for a moment, before shuffling back to the protection of his crony.
Pay up, elf. No one shorts Griff, especially not one of you. You two ought to be thanking your lucky gods it's us, and not the Magisters enforcing round here. A fool never knows what they've got till it's well and gone. Now come on, elf. If you make me say it again, there's gonna be trouble.
Burrow looks you up and down, sizing up your threat.
Ah, get out of here. The both of you. You ain't worth a sweat on my brow anyhow.
The elf smiles and bows to you in thanks.
Follow me, before more of them trouble us. There is a safe place.
Ifan rolls his sleeves back down. He nods at you, the shadow of a smile on his lips.
Good work there. Good work. I can tell you've got chops. Say, you were on the ship here with me, weren't you?
He stretches out one rough hand to shake yours.
Suit yourself. Probably wise, given the rashes you can pick up around this place. Say, you don't look all that busy now that we're safely on dry land. I could use someone to watch my back, and it looks like you could use someone to watch yours. I've just got a small errand to run, and then I'll be looking to get the hell out of here while I've still got a neck to collar. How about we stick together until we get out of this place?
He shrugs, looking off to the side.
Mercenaries. It's a job. My job.
He gazes around admiringly at the decrepit surroundings in which you find yourselves.
Funny girl. Stick around a while. That'll change. 2 heads are better than 1. And when push comes to shove, 4 fists are better than 2, right? Everyone needs to make a living.
The little black cat trailing you hisses at him, hair raising a ridge along its back. Without batting an eyelid, the man rumbles a lupine growl. The cat hides behind your leg, mewling. He shoots you a flinty look, all teeth and peril.
Lone wolves only share such information with friends. Are we going to be friends?
He grins, sharp.
So, before we hit the road, it's best if we decide battle strategies up front. Survival's my main priority. I'll use every trick in the book to keep us alive. But if a wayfarer's not what you're after, I've got others. Too much, you might say. I can make them bleed any which way you want. Which is? Can do. Onwards.
He scans the...
Looks like you've got quite a busy little crew already. My instincts tell me to travel with a smaller pack. But if you happen to lose one, you know where I am.
Here's the goods. Like you wanted.
Got it.
Here's the goods. You're a little... Why don't you take a gander at the goodies I've got? Stuff you won't find anywhere else in camp. Procured by special means. Only the finest, you know.
Ain't fit for beasts. Ain't fit for beasts.
Nice and slow. Nice and slow.
Perhaps if those bleeding dwarves didn't eat so much.
Careful. Don't want to catch Griff in a bad mood.
Worse than war rations, these.
Careful. Don't want to catch Griff in a bad mood. Heading into the kitchen? Don't try anything funny around Griff. I'm watching you.
Worse than war rations, these.
Ha! Cheeky. What's your name? I'm Butter. Nice to meet you. You mean it? Or is that another line of yours? I used to play the harp, you know. Mostly around Arcs, although sometimes we'd travel down to Driftwood. Might be you saw one of my performances. You think? I was raised by the whip, And I'm not afraid to use one either, especially not in here. Joining up with Griff's the closest thing you can get to security around here. Family, too. Till the Reds take you, anyway. There's a gap between what we want and what we can have, isn't there? Here more than anywhere else.
Perhaps if those bleeding dwarves didn't...
She looks into your eyes and smiles impishly, then gently takes your...
How very right you are. Look, I have an idea. I know we don't know each other very well, but time is so short and a connection is so rare. If we get out of here, will you meet me again in Arks?
She leans forward and grazes your...
Until then.
Perhaps if those bleeding
But why? When another divine arises, will source change back? What if there are no sorcerers? Why hasn't Alexander...
Mind your manners round Griff, eh?
Just as you're about to address the lizard, the Red Prince bars you with an outstretched arm.
This man is a dreamer. As you know, I need a word with him. You may wait here while I speak. Permission indeed.
He bids the dreamer stand up and pay attention, which he does in a grovelling and awkward manner. The dreamer then chews and swallows a handful of Drudenay leaves before slipping into a trance-like state. He falls asleep. To your surprise, the Red Prince lies down and follows suit. After about half an hour, they wake up and begin to discuss what they saw in their dreams. The Red Prince pinches the bridge of his nose in apparent irritation before turning his back on the jabbering dreamer. You receive a withering glance in response.
A deserved bit of sarcasm, I suppose. But though this sting-tailed fellow may be a less than stellar specimen in the firmament of dreamers, the dreams themselves prove to be quite elucidating. Turns out I'm being hunted by an enemy I didn't know actually existed. The myth-shrouded House of Shadows. The dreamers, though, they're on my side. And they've visions of me on the throne. Of course it is. I was born with the promise of an empire, and that promise will be kept. But to keep it, I must find a second dreamer. A greater one, a more experienced traveller of the dream world. Bahara is her name, and she resides in the swamplands east of the fort. So, let us make our escape and venture there post-haste.
You know, I could tell you all about swamp dreamers too if I chewed that much Drudenay.
Oh, do hold your prickly tongue.
Understand? Then why do you wake a dreamer? You should know. You should know. Oh, I was so close. And you smell of burnt hair and barren dreams.
but I had the good breeding not to mention it. So close to the dream. It's been so long, you wouldn't understand. Not to worry. I haven't slept a wink since your last interruption.
Griff glances from his blade to you and back again. He smirks and...
I'm listening.
He points the tip of his blade at the grisly sight of the elf hunched over, clutching...
I solve my own problems.
You forget my name, here?
Sure. Have a look. Good stuff, huh? Thugs. Look at it this way. People get...
What do you think of Mr. Griff's boots, anyhow?
Frightfully busy at the moment, love. Haven't got any liquor on hand, have you? This fella could use a little comfort. Wouldn't be a proper healer if I didn't. Go on, what are you after? All the worse for old Dane. He crossed one of Griff's card sharks and got a club to the skull. Doomed to be sure, but I would have liked to ease his way. Exactly.
A little reprieve from the din outside.
As you approach the young elf, Losa suddenly grabs your arm. Her hand is damp.
Hey, listen, I don't know why, but I think I need to talk to this elf. You mind?
She jerks her hand away.
I can't. I just need to talk to her, okay?
She turns towards Sahela. She darts over to the elf without responding. They begin talking in earnest, more quietly than you can overhear. Losa suddenly snatches up both the elf's hands and leans close to her. Her voice rises.
You have to tell me.
The whites of Losa's eyes fade to grey, then black. The colour runs into her veins, crisscrossing her skin like lightning. She keeps hold of Sahela's hands.
It rises in you even now, Losa. Do not let it. You must be strong. Be strong. Fight. Fight. You are okay. You are yours. No one else's.
She doesn't break eye contact with...
Losa is fighting an enemy. She will win. She must win.
Shut up. Let go. Let go. Let go. I don't want to hurt her. Don't make me.
Losa is rigid as a board, tense with the effort of holding Sahila's hands in tight, painful bunches.
Leave me alone. Leave me. I don't want to.
You are hurting me.
Losa's eyes are black. Sahila's fingers are white under her grasp.
Let me go. Please.
A sinister smile spreads across Losa's...
Chatty elf. Chatty elf with all the answers. I wonder what your blood tastes like.
Losa, please. You must not defend her. She wakes if she is weakened. We must hurt her to protect her, you see?
I bet the elf blood tastes like honey, like nectar, like joy itself. Let's find out.
You must weaken her to help her. I am sorry, Losa. She does not mean what she does. It is almost enough. A few more hits. She comes back to us when she is weaker.
You okay? Yeah, thanks. What? Don't look at me like that. That thing has nothing to do with me. It's just a visitor. A fly that won't buzz off. Glad it didn't freak you out too much, though. I know this kind of stuff can be weird if you aren't used to it. Yeah, I know. I'm working on it, okay? Let's keep moving. I want to get out of this bloody place as soon as possible. I'm fine. You're fine. We're fine. I just want to get out of here. Let's go.
You can't get me.
Thank you for your help with that, thug. No doubt he turns on you next. These humans hate us.
The elf appears momentarily puzzled by your comment, but then offers you a dignified little bow.
As far as I'm concerned, you are noble and just in both actions and appearance. I am in your debt. I hear of no escapes. The only way out is through the Magisters, through their cure. Thugs I can stand, but I fear the Magisters. It gives me great pain. I'm with my family. We are making beautiful magic. We are healing a tree cut down with great violence. The Magisters come. My family runs, but I fall. My son looks back. I shout to him to run. I am taken. In this cave, we trust the healer. She is young, but she sees. She knows more than we know. In the camp, the brute, Griff, will... Wait, before you go, I am not here without your help. I do not forget this. For you, a prize. I save it for a special occasion, but I can think of no finer occasion than this. Thank you.
I'll stab you right in the eye. Wait, I call a timeout.
I know
other in the box? Are you from the ancient empire? Maybe you know my mum. Helen. She served the bailiff of the House of Law. She died when the Void Woken came.
Suddenly, the child's face crinkles into a grimace. She seems on the verge of sobbing when her face suddenly goes still and blank.
Whack! Back, evil ogre, or I'll get you with my sword! Oh, don't you know how to play? I'm the good guy. Whoever kills the other is the boss. Whack! Got you! Back, evil ogre, or I'll spare you this time, Beef. You're really fun. Hey, I'm gonna ready? Go! I want to play hide and seek. Hide and seek. You're the one that's boring, and you look like a zombie vampire, but not the cool kind.
A human? You stink. Manners are for humans. I'm an ancient. That means I'm better than you. Are you from the ancient empire? Maybe you know my mum. You don't know that. Her name was Helen, and she served the bailiff from the House of Law. She was really tall and really smart. I bet you did know her.
You're too slow.
A human? You stink. I know you are, but what am I?
The child sticks out her tongue at...
I'm playing Helen, hero of the whole world. Who are you playing?
You can't play my game. Got you. I feel him, but I do not see him.
No one tells me there are so many children in this Fort Joy. Magisters I handle, but small ones. You know what they do? They play a game called Scream. In this game, they see who screams the loudest. I feel the Divine's loss so sharply during Scream.
The young girl's eyes are cut.
Ah, hello. I see you come a long way. I see you come here seeking a great adventure. Do you find it?
She laughs and looks around as though taking in the scenery, though her eyes are still covered.
Many people do. Even if we are here under unhappy circumstances, still I feel it. Perhaps you keep going. Perhaps you make friends with what you see. There is a great passion in every grain of sand. I see it before my eyes. It is not so bad. I know which days have bread and which days have none. I know more bread comes someday. It helps. Your life is not your own. Your life is for us all.
Her eyebrows shoot up.
There can be a way. Amiro knows. My protector, my friend. He is caught by those who hurt him. I wish so much for his return. And he tells... I know I can trust. I see something that helps. I see a lizard. He is a lizard of many dreams, of far feeling. You do not free Amiro without him.